Okay, welcome back, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. We're here for, I think, what's going to be a kind of interesting review. Is we just got a Man of Steel, which I have a feeling I like this more than both you fuckers.
Hello.
Okay, Raj is with me in the back. Kind of hard to tell. You can turn the back light on there.
Oh, you racist?
Let's see if this recorded.
How does it always come back to this with you?
Okay.
Anyway,
I'll just chill right here.
and Chris is here with me as well. The other resident geek of the group, really, pretty much. Well, let's be honest. Aside from you and me, not many other people read comics. So.
That is true.
Well, not in this group.
In the group.
Well, maybe Grant, but even then, his knowledge isn't quite as extensive. Anyway, so he's got a Man of Steel, and before I go into what I like and didn't like about this movie, what do you guys think?
I was mildly impressed. For all you people who are still in school out there, when you have that one class and you have this final project, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm going to get an F. I'm going to fail this class. You turn it in, and then you get it back, and you get a C-, and you're like, whatever, I got the C+ for my GPA, I'm good. That's how this movie was.
Okay.
Okay, I have to ask, at what point while watching the movie did you come up with that analogy? Because I know you were thinking about it.
I was thinking, it's like, what's the cleverest, most douchebaggy way I can say this?
And now we all know it's thought process. I'm sorry, go on,
I
Ryan.
thought it was good. You know, it wasn't the greatest, but I definitely enjoyed the movie. I thought it was worth seeing.
I genuinely actually really enjoyed this movie.
Okay.
I think there's some parts that really worked. There was one big glaring issue that it took me a long time to get over.
There's a few.
Well, yeah, there's a few, but the one that really bugged me the most, that one took me a while to get over, but like there was a certain point where for some reason I kind of got what the movie was trying to do, and I thought it succeeded in that front. But by doing that, it sacrificed some other things. To elaborate a little bit on that is, it does, I think it captures overall what Superman is. Aside from just the character himself, I think it's like focused a lot on Superman being the symbol, like basically symbol of what humanity can do, what they're best at, like the symbol of hope and
It
will.
definitely did a really good job at
And
that.
I thought that all was done spectacularly well.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it does this at sacrificing the character of Superman himself. That's kind of what I thought, because like problem is it focuses so much on, it's part philosophy and part action blockbuster movie. That's kind of what it kind of feels like, or at least what it's trying to do.
I can see that, but I'm not sure if I fully agree with it sacrifices Superman as a character.
I'm not saying it completely, but I felt like of all the characters, his felt almost wasn't explored to the full potential it could have been.
That's how Superman normally is, though.
Very true, but
Unfortunately, very sadly, ever since
I'm comparing
John
this a
Byrne
lot to
quit.
Superman Birthright, which is what this movie looks like. It's very loosely based on.
Yeah, it probably has a lot more similarities than any other of the source materials out there.
Yeah, I mean, Superman Birthright is one of my favorite Superman stories. It actually properly explores the character and how he came to be, and it basically justifies everything that Superman is today. This one focuses much more on the symbolism of Superman is, and on that front, it works really well.
I want to agree with you, mostly, but I think a lot of it's... They didn't really focus on that because they didn't need to. They're like, we're not at this part in the story. Everybody hates, this part about superhero movies, like where they decide what they become. So they kind of like get that out of the way, and it's like, okay, now Superman can decide what to do with this now that he's there.
That's one thing that kind of bothered me too. And like
Oh, it bothered me. It bothered me.
Because like a lot of parts felt like really rushed. Like the pace, it has a very much of a pacing issue. Like some parts I feel like it takes its time. Like it took a long time for Krypton to fucking blow up.
Yeah, that's one thing. Even though like not reading the comics, there were parts of this movie where the pacing was quick, and all of a sudden it like slammed on the brakes and it dragged scenes out so far.
Like
freaking Krypton did not need to be that long. With the worst alien race ever, the worst acting alien race ever, with Russell Crowe, and then the wife. Laura, who, for some reason, there was always one Kryptonian who put teardrops in her eyes when she needed to cry, because I can tell you right now, she could not cry to save her life.
Well, yeah, because real crying looks like, not like the sexy cry seen like in 5,000 Lord of the Rings shots.
Yeah, right.
It's like, I love him. Do you really?
And Russell Crowe is just Russell Crowe. He's just kind of selling it in anyway, no matter what he's doing. At least not singing.
maybe his thought process, because I probably would have done this too, is to think like, for the most of the film, I'm going to be artificial intelligence. I need to be straightforward and honest, just get to the point. It's like, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But for the first 40 minutes, like 30, 40, probably not that long.
No,
but it felt like that long.
Yeah.
So for the first hour, that's how long it felt.
It was a long movie.
He was
like 2.5 hours.
supposed to be living. It's like, Well, they kind of explain it with Kryptonians giving her free will, which I don't really get when they're trying to hammer that point in. It's like, you were definitely not chosen from birth to do this, but you did it anyway.
The whole genocide thing, yeah.
And the Kryptonians just not like sex?
Well, they're all older fogies apparently, so
It's for evolutionary purposes. They're breeding these people to be like perfect in like what they're meant to do.
They're basically making an ant farm.
Right, basically.
They're getting rid of all the fun.
And making it into the Matrix. Does anyone else get that vibe? It even has fucking Morpheus in it.
I didn't put that connection together.
Now that you said
it.
he mentions it. And here's a creepy guy looking at us.
Oh, it's not the first odd story we've gotten. These videos. We had like security coming up and down here yesterday when I was doing the review with Grant. And we just got like, what the fuck are they doing?
And that time we got kicked out of the garage, that's funny.
Well, that's a flame. No, that was a different
The Flames garage, yeah.
Yeah, no, this one they don't give a shit.
Okay.
Anyway, what was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah, but I didn't really like, what's the name guy that played General Zod? General Zod? General Zod. Yeah, what's his name? Michael something?
I can find
the
out
actual
for you in
actor?
about 30
Yeah.
seconds.
No, I don't know.
Oh, well.
I'll find out for you.
Either way, it's kind of weird, like, comparing, like, the monotone of Russell Crowe to the just a pure intensity of that particular actor. Because he's just so fucking intense through the whole movie. I actually really liked his character.
Yeah.
But, like, he had some great fucking
Michael
moments.
Shannon.
Michael Shannon, yes.
I knew I know him from that Comedy Central video, like comedy college humor video.
Oh, okay.
Where he's reading a sorority letter, which is fucking awesome. Maybe I looked it up too.
There's the thing with Zod.
This movie sucks. He didn't for one moment say kneel before Zod.
I'm actually very glad.
No,
I'm actually very glad.
It wouldn't have worked. It wouldn't have fit. Not with this interpretation of the character.
Exactly.
It is a very different
The
interpretation.
thing with Zod is that Zod isn't necessarily an obscure character in Superman,
Not anymore, no.
but he's not really somebody that they use. And most people know Zod because of Terrence Stamp, Kneel Before Zod.
Yeah. And they brought him
And-
back in the comic books too.
Yeah, but we don't.
we don't talk about that.
He's an Injustice. They revealed him on Conan.
I heard about that, yeah.
And the Flaming Sea.
I don't know if I was going to put that in there, actually.
No.
But,
Yeah.
well, that's fucking
You didn't see the
awesome.
video?
I didn't see it, no.
Okay, we're getting off topic.
Anyway.
I didn't see it
So
either,
with Zod, I think everybody expected Lex Luthor, which I don't think is an unrealistic expectation.
I'm fine with them not using Lex
No,
Luthor.
I am too. I'm actually.
Did you see the Trek at
I'm
the
actually,
end? It said Lex Corp
yeah,
on it?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that's actually appearing throughout the film, like just on the minor things too. Just
Yeah.
like Lex Corp Electronics. It's like, oh,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, there's a little tidbit for you.
Now, there's something else I want to talk about before. I'm going to let you finish your sentence first.
So, I think. Well, I first thought they had Zod in there because wasn't the only other Superman film that people liked. Which I thought was like, oh man, it's just gonna. I didn't think it was gonna.
Ask.
That'd be cool.
I didn't think it would be a complete rehash, but it was like they're kind of just exploiting nostalgia. But I actually have to give them the pass. It's like
No, they really
They did it.
used him.
Yeah.
Like, he was key to the story.
At first, I was thinking, just like, well, if you want to rebuild Krypton, then you want to use somebody who's also more popular and can do the exact same thing with Brainiac.
I wanted them to use Brainiac too. I wish.
But then, by the time you actually got to the end of the film, it's like, no, this is why they chose other Kryptonians. This is why they chose Zod.
Yeah,
And
I completely agree.
I was not expecting them to actually tie it together.
Not to mention, there's some fucking good action sequences.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Which we'll get to that in a bit. The one thing one of the initially minor things that accumulated.
Oh, this is the thing I mentioned to you on the walk over
this
here,
is
right?
the product placement.
Oh,
Speaking
God.
of little
It was-
things that you noticed throughout the movie, let's talk about IHOP.
Do you guys want to go to 7-Eleven?
Oh,
There's one by the Sears.
oh, that's it, yeah.
I suddenly want to go to Nokia.
And hit my Union Pacific locomotive.
Well, I know why product placement exists, and it wasn't.
It was so blatant, though.
It was.
It was blatant, but it wasn't like in your face. Like if you see any of those Happy Madison productions. But to be fair, that's like the only way those films get made, is through
Way to destroy my
Hoarding.
smile, Chris.
product placement. From somebody who has family in the Midwest, in Missouri, and I've been there a lot. Those are how towns are. It's like it's all homogenous, just small town stuff like that. Like they showed Sears. Like I wouldn't be surprised if Sears was Smallville's most kicking spots. I really wouldn't. No, I would not be surprised at all.
That being
Apparently-
said, some people like to go, I don't know, but it's actually because I sound like a new laundry.
So apparently, I was reading an article that said that this movie had the highest product placement of any movie ever, ever. $170 million before they even hit the theaters, just from product
I'm
placement.
surprised I didn't get a razor blade friggin' thing in there. Since I keep hearing that ad on Pandora.
Well, actually, it's probably in that deleted scene where he has the beard when he goes in and he comes out in Superman and he's all clean shaven.
And not to mention the kind of subtle plug-in for Deadliest Catch. Okay, so
Yeah.
when the movie starts after Krypton finally fucking blows up. It doesn't even
3 hours later.
3 hours later, it doesn't even bother going to when Ma and Pa find Clark Kent. They just kind of, you know how that happens. You know Superman's origin.
exactly.
Everybody knows Superman origin. So they just jump straight to where he's on Deadliest Catch, hunting for crab. When he has to save a bunch of people from oil rig, and apparently he's gets pretty much all his clothes burnt off for the ladies, I can only assume. He has pectorals that are the size of my head, which makes you a little insecure, and the audience going, I need to work on my man titties. And then, fuck it. And then he basically just bounces from town to town after that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Until he ends up in
Yeah.
the Arctic, where Lois Lane, played by Amy Adams, happens to be.
Following this excavation of an iceberg shit they're doing or something.
Yeah, where they basically find the Fortress of Solitude, which is
Right.
really just a Kryptonian
ship.
That was
I was a
actually,
little bothered
like
by
that.
that.
was
I
actually
like-
clever.
I like that. That was one of the clever things where I said, this isn't a clever film by any means.
No.
It's just clever things. And I'm certain with Zack Snyder at helm, these are all by accident.
Well, had
And he
Christopher Nolan as
probably
producer.
fought against their inclusion.
You know what? He probably had to fight. Probably had to fight and lose was the lack of slow motion. That's actually
Thank God.
Oh, yes. Thank you,
God.
Lord.
He replaced it with that stupid shaky cam, though.
Well, yeah, but it was an improvement.
There was a lot of
it was a
shaky
big
cam.
improvement, but
There was a lot of shaky
there
cam
was
in this
too
movie.
much shaking cam.
Too
As
much.
in, there was more than one shot with
It didn't really bother me all that much. I mean, maybe it's because I watched Star Trek and the big ass IMAX theater, and that was really bad in comparison. So this really
It
bothered
didn't
me.
bother me as much in Star Trek as in this one, because this one
Really?
was just like in
I
your...
didn't even really notice all that much.
Which Star Trek?
Star Trek 2, the one we just.
Introduction.
Okay, I haven't seen that yet, so let's
good
not,
movie, you should go see it.
Let's not talk about it.
Fair enough. Okay.
But,
Now let's spoil that whole movie in 1 minute, like we did before.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Like you didn't already know what it was anyway. Anyway, where was I going with this? Oh yeah, so Amy Adams. What do you guys think of Amy Adams?
I did not like her.
Really?
Lois Lane?
You don't like her?
I like Lois Lane.
I like her as
I thought
Lois
she was
Lane.
a Lois.
I didn't think she was perfect, but I thought she was good.
Yeah.
Granted,
She fit the
that
profile.
being said, the whole romance subplot between the two of them really did not work.
Well, that's because there was no romance.
Exactly.
They just tacked on the kiss because they're like, hey, guys,
expected
aren't
this.
Lois
Yeah.
Lane and Superman supposed to be in love? It's like, oh shit, we forgot that.
And that's the
It's
problem because it doesn't.
Yeah.
It focuses entirely on the Superman's aspect, not the Clark Kent aspect, but it's just as important.
Right.
Oh,
because Lois
especially.
Lane falls in love with Clark Kent. I mean,
not really.
No,
Yeah.
okay. No. She should.
This
Well, she is in love with Clark, but I can go into like
we can go on her huge
Decades
nerd
of-
rants.
decades of history.
I didn't read the comics, so.
Well, also changes on continuity
And New
Elseworld
52
stories and new
and-
writers.
and
Writers can just
lawsuits
change. What,
and-
Right. Okay, this is something that they did a lot in the film, where they jumped timelines back and forth.
Yeah,
What do you
the
guys think about
flashback.
that?
flashbacks?
Yeah,
The
because it was like a one scene was in present time, then it would go back, and then come back to present, then go back to the...
It didn't really bother me that much. It was a little distracting sometimes.
Yeah.
Because to
that's-
me, it distracted me a little bit.
I don't like flashbacks at all, but
Yeah.
if you're going to sacrifice 45 minutes of the film just to get Superman there, like you could,
Yeah.
because like if this was
and that's
like a Marvel film, they would have had that entire thing in there. They would have.
yeah, they probably would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it beats the alternative, but it's the lesser of two evils as far as I'm concerned.
Fair enough. At the same time, I kind of liked how they had I kind of liked how flashbacks were executed in general, like how at least learns and deals with his newfound powers.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really like those. I thought those scenes were very effective. Granted, I'm not sure I really like the whole philosophy, pretty much lost analogy.
The ones
where
I
you're swinging
really,
towards analogy.
the one that was absolutely, or the two that were absolutely necessary needed to be in there, was on the bus.
Yeah, the bus one was
the
necessary.
bus was very important.
And well, we're about to go into spoilers. Just fair warning.
Okay. Yeah. Just turn off now if you don't want to know.
And when Jonathan Kent dies,
Yes.
Because when he tells him to stop was by far the most powerful thing in that movie.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
pretty...
That being said,
That kinda
I thought
shows
people
who he was.
handled death remarkably well in this movie. Did anyone else notice that? They
Yeah.
don't go, holy shit, I'm dying. They go, and then they just disappear.
Dying. It's like, no, leave me to die. Let me die.
Man,
It's
I guess
meant to be-
I guess it's just in Superman.
But
and it's
God
about the
forbid we
family's
can't
life.
let the dog die.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking to myself during that scene, I'm like, why doesn't he just save himself and let the dog die? Like, it's...
It's like an unspoken rule.
Hey,
movie.
how
Like,
about-
unless you're I Am Legend, you never kill the dog.
How about when you guys left the car the first time, you take the dog with you then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. I wouldn't have let my dog die. Are you kidding me?
It's like, fuck you. Okay, I'll keep the dog.
Yeah.
He's pure.
It's like, if I
not
had a
you.
choice whether
You
to, like,
can go
save
for it.
my, you know, my parents or my dog, I'd probably pick my parents over my dog. I'm just saying.
Well, actually, Jonathan went to save his family.
Or what was yeah.
Well, John, yeah.
So yeah, Jonathan Kent dies. It feels like no matter what interpretation of Jonathan Kent you get, he always fucking dies. I kind of feel bad for him in that regard.
I don't know. He doesn't necessarily always die. He's not like the Waynes where they need to die.
Well, I mean, it's like if it's always getting Ma and Pa, it's always Pa. I'm just saying, if it comes down to one of the two.
Yeah.
You never
Oh,
see
yeah.
Ma die in any interpretation of
yeah.
Superman.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
It's always Jonathan Kent, that poor bastard. That poor Waterworld bastard.
It'll always be that way, too.
There's two ways to go with that. There's the I actually really love the animated series for Superman. I like it much more than Batman the animated series.
You're just picking fights all over the place.
But where the Kents are alive and they're kind of just like,
All right, son, you go have a good time now.
yeah, kind of, they're kind of just like jolly old people. And like, I think that's
They always said like the old guys with like the overcoat. Oh, it looks like a storm's a coming.
not to that extent, but it's always they're purely human. Which is where Superman gets all of his ideals of humanity from the Kents.
Right.
Yeah.
And I understand why Jonathan dying in this film, especially when he was about, you could see he was about to go into that tornado and just flying there, but he's like, no, because he understood
Right.
what would happen, and he understood that it would not be.
It definitely
good.
worked. I
And
thought
there
it
are
definitely worked.
There are definitely parts like that, and that's again, I didn't really kind of start going for this movie until like a little towards the third act, like when things playing like a movie. That's when I really kind of got sold on it.
actually.
But up to that point, I just couldn't tell what I thought about it. I felt like the character was fleshed enough. Then it kind of reached a point, and Superman has to beat like the World Breaker pretty much.
Wait, which
Oh, the World Machine?
The World Machine.
Oh,
the
yeah, whatever they're
terraforming
called.
thing.
What are they called?
Right.
But like, and from something, that's when it kind of sold me, because like again, that's kind of where I realized like this is Superman. That's the symbol. That's the symbol for hope and will, and basically represents all that's good about mankind,
Right.
or people in general. And I thought like that's kind of when it clicked for me. Like that's when I thought like all the elements that, all not perfect, were still kind of work together to kind of build up to that moment. And from there, I thought it just worked really well. But to get to that point, though,
I was like towards
You
the
had to
end
go
of the
through some
movie.
shit.
yeah, you gotta get
That
some
was
shit.
like a-
And it's like, if you get to that point and it clicks for you like it did for me, you'll really enjoy this movie. That's when I really started to enjoy it, was in that third act, when I felt like everything clicked together.
It definitely did. Like things that were like present in the beginning, you're like, oh, I don't know if it's gonna work, but at the end, it all just kind of like came full circle.
Yeah,
I was like,
I've-
oh, okay, now I know
Like
why
I
they did
said,
that.
I was really surprised that they tied most things together, I should say.
Right.
Most
Yeah,
things.
most things. Yeah.
A lot of things. The story wasn't necessarily the focus,
No.
but you can tell there was actually thought put into it, which
well,
is
I mean, Goyer wrote
much
the
more than
script.
I expected. Oh, yeah, David S. Goyer.
Yeah, I mean, granted,
Okay.
he wrote Blade Trinity, but still, we can forgive that. And they had Christopher Nolan as a producer, so
I think that's
That's
Christopher Nolan working on the story and producer credits. I think that's why this film didn't fall apart like I
right.
expected.
Christopher Nolan has still not
Especially
disappointed me.
considering his last film was The Dark Knight Rises, which fell apart like I expected.
I didn't hate Dark Knight
I didn't
Rises,
hate it.
but,
I liked it.
but I will admit it's
liked it.
definitely the weakest of the three.
When freaking Zod had the mask on, he only had this part clear, and he's like, "Where is it? Where is it?" I was like, "Where's the trigger?" That's all I could think about.
Swear to me! Can you imagine people, like, there's a lot of echo. Can you imagine people in there saying, like, what the fuck?
So speaking of other superhero films, I enjoyed this one.
Are we talking about? Oh, okay. You mean
Or
all the other ones?
about Superman. Everything since the Avengers, I have enjoyed Superman the most.
Fair enough. I
Okay.
mean, this is the best
Granted,
of the
that's
Superman.
not saying too much.
Granted,
But since
also,
the Avengers, this was a breath of fresh air compared to Dark Knight Rises and Iron Man 3.
Okay, with Dark Knight Rises, I felt they screwed Bane's character over and basically, like...
We can have an entire review about that later.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like on Superman.
Aside from bringing Bane down to nothing, it was not a bad movie.
Yeah, brain.
Aside from bringing Bane down to nothing.
Pink, yeah. Batman on the brain.
I would watch that movie.
North.
But yeah, Bane didn't really have a... Okay, you know what? Let's stay on Superman. So, yeah.
But yeah, I would agree with you. Like, I thought this is probably better than Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, yeah.
This is a good movie. I mean...
But I was like, I genuinely enjoyed the movie. Like, again, it was just all when I clicked towards the end. That's when it like really got enjoyable for me. Up to that point, yeah, I would say it's like the movie's just good but not great kind of territory.
I don't know if I'll say this is the best Superman film.
No, probably Superman 2 is...
Well, there's two things about Superman 2 that you need to keep in mind.
Two things, alright.
Well, I still think the first Superman film, as ridiculous as it is, as a reflection of comics at the time, by far the best Superman film. Superman 2, you have to watch the director's cut. The director's cut's almost a completely different film.
Damn.
Well, and different tone of the film, I should say.
Fair enough.
And, well, I mean, it's still really ridiculously over the top. Terrence Stamp, I mean, he's great. How can you not love him? How can you not love that Zod? I actually liked Superman Returns.
Really?
I thought it was a very, very, very different take than what I was expecting. So it's kind of like this film. I was like, you know, I respect what you did differently. You did a lot of different things that actually works. You did better than my expectations, but I'm not sure if you're a good film.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt with this one too.
It's like I would generally say this is a good film. The pacing was the big issue because at some points it'll really take its time. Like for moments when Superman discovers the Fortress of Solitude basically and starts talking to his AI version of his dad, and then all of a sudden the suit's just there. We're not given a reason why it's just there.
Like they showed him when he goes to the core. When he goes to the core, and he takes off like all his traditional Kryptonian stuff back on Jor-El back on Krypton.
Yeah.
Like, you see he has the suit like Zod does with the S and stuff, but why was Superman so different?
Yeah, and...
Why was this much more colorful? Where did the cape come from?
It's like, and where all that... Yeah, and then all of a sudden he's just wearing it, and now he's just flying around. I kind of like the idea of, like, in order to know your powers, you really got to test your limits. I thought that was kind of cool. I liked how they toyed with that, but at the same time, it's like, well, why'd you have to put the suit on? For what reason do you have to put the suit on?
What I loved about that is, before he starts flying... He's just jumping around, which goes back to the very first incarnation of Superman, where they say, can leap tall buildings in a single bound. That's because Superman very originally, could not fly, per se.
Did not know that.
He would just jump really far. So
that's what he did on Smallfoot for 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's actually kind of a nice little setback. I don't know if Zack Snyder got that. But,
you really don't have much faith in Zack Snyder.
No, I do not.
What was his last film?
His last film was Sucker Punch.
Oh yeah.
Was it? Did he do something between then?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Well, if he did, it was it was less memorable than Sucker Punch, which is a very fucking hard thing to do.
Wait, wasn't that stupid animated Owls movie?
What?
It was like Guardians, like something of the Guardians or something like that. It was a movie about owls that was directed by Zack Snyder. It had like
Oh, the CG film.
Yeah, it had Frodo in there.
Yeah, that was actually less memorable than. I've never seen it. I wouldn't.
Apparently, it's got a fan base. So.
I mean, they have a fan base.
It's a long-running book series, I think, right?
I don't know.
Probably that. So with Zack Snyder, we already kind of touched upon this, but I am impressed with how much he grew. But I think that's because people who knew better.
Just like, no.
We're keeping him in check. Yes.
A.K.A. Christopher Nolan.
Well, he was working on Batman at the same time this movie was being made, so it's questionable how much influence he really had after that.
There was
that started happening.
No dumbass 300 Watchmen slow-mo.
Thank God.
No.
This would not have worked in
Sucker Punch bullshit. Well, there was kind of Sucker Punch bullshit.
I never saw Sucker Punch.
So with Zack Snyder, I was like, this doesn't really look like something done by him. But then when they actually got into the ship, and he booted it up and shows all of Krypton's history, it's like, there they go. There's the bullshit visuals.
Oh yeah. Okay, now they bring it
like
up.
The beads from
all those
X-Men.
All those scenes really contrasted
Personally-
with the rest of the film, which
Yeah.
you have a film where a guy in a blue jumpsuit flies. That's hard to do.
You got a point there. I was like, what's wrong with the camera?
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan of the beads making all the things behind him as he talked either. I don't know.
Yeah, that was
I wasn't a big fan.
Zack Schneider like, look what I can do.
Yeah,
Woohoo.
I wasn't a big fan.
And let's talk about one thing.
It didn't add to
One of
the
my big
movie.
problem with Superman Returns was the fact that pretty much all the action scenes are basically Superman lifting increasingly heavy
Oh
objects.
no, yeah.
In this movie,
Superman getting hit.
they
by-
beat the fucking crap out of each other.
Yeah. He's
And oh my god, it is awesome.
I would have had a problem with that if they didn't include those moments. Like, I actually think the moments where Superman chooses not to fight or to hold back
Right.
Like which
are
part-
what make him
Oh yeah.
a character that's
like he,
like,
he
you have to
always
wonder,
finds
like-
another way.
like, you have all that power and you choose not to use it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know what they say, like, it takes a strong man not to use his power.
Mm.
Well, a strong person.
Right.
Yeah.
But well, he's Superman. Unless another Supergirl movie gets made.
Why?
I like Supergirl a lot. What?
You don't.
Really?
What's wrong with Supergirl?
We can get to another discussion about that. But well, as long as no crypto,
Get the Black Swan look all over again.
as long as no crypto the Superdog gets
God.
made.
I don't know, maybe that little sheepdog they had going around there with develop superpowers. You cannot rule these things.
That is true.
If they have Crypto the Superdog, they should have the crossover with Ace the Bat Hound, so Superman and Batman can finally meet on screen. Where it's like,
Hey.
oh hey, let's go walk our dogs.
Most epic movie ever. Who
hopefully-
gets to clean up Crypto's poop? We'll find out more.
Hopefully it has
next
Crypto
summer.
the Super Horse. You know, the man inside a horse's body who wants to fuck Supergirl.
Yeah, I read that cracked article too.
Well, I've actually read the comics.
Okay, anyway, we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
We're talking. Oh yeah, the action scenes. I thought it was kind of a fun little nod that they referenced the other two Kryptonians from the last Superman 2. I thought that was kind of fun. You never saw Superman 2, did you? All right. So I like
What
that.
were
Actually,
the references? With the...
That they were there.
yeah,
basically.
pretty much. Well, yeah, and that's basically some. They
The
were there.
two-
They were there in the Superman 2. The same reason they're here. They're just someone to beat Superman to beat the crap out of. Beat the crap out of him.
Back when they're in the giant, fight in front of Sears,
Right,
those
oh,
two
yeah.
Kryptonians.
Couldn't miss the Sears.
Yeah, that was.
The whole screen, the Sears sign.
I want a fucking laundry. It's like, I want to do some motherfucking laundry.
One thing that kind of bugged me about the Kryptonians is that they all had evil European accents. It's like
They did.
the one guy, it's like,
They look
yeah, you
European,
will be
too.
as weak as a human. And he has like the evil German, evil
He
German
They looked
accent.
European too.
Well, Jor-El had an American accent, to be
Yeah.
fair, so they had the
Right.
whole kind of United Nations of evil there.
No, it's
Yeah.
like always that one thing where it's like, well, first of all, Alice was always under the impression that they spoke Kryptonian, but they just said it in English,
Yeah,
just so
right.
they wouldn't have to invent a fucking language. This isn't Star Trek. And why do they all have European accents, like from a different country, like
it sounded
evil
Russian.
British,
It
evil
sounded
Russian,
Russian.
evil German? And then when they,
Fucking
well, you were in the
Nazis.
bathroom for this, when Zod makes contact,
Oh yeah, what I miss exactly.
all these broadcast systems and like anything that's related to
Oh, this is
RSS
creepy as
feeds.
shit.
Oh,
Where it says,
I was
like,
there for that.
You are not alone.
Yeah, I saw that.
Oh.
Said it in
shit.
every language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I left when the FBI came for Lois.
Okay. Oh, so you missed less than I thought. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I can complain to you about this. It's like,
Well, they say
first
that
of
in
all,
every
did they go
language.
to like iMovie and make this or something?
It was creepy.
Did they go to every planet and do this? Because you see them and go to other planets and actually, I think, pointless flashbacks then.
Oh yeah. Well, it was
But,
exposition.
and they have it in every language simultaneously. Like, were they speaking English across the globe? Like, what about those fucking Vietnamese people? What if Superman landed there and he only spoke?
They spoke Vietnamese.
No, they didn't. No, they did in Chinese. I heard like there was a lot of languages.
There's
They-
like
No,
Chinese
like
or
when
Spanish.
Zod's actually talking. He's like,
Oh.
I am Zod.
Oh yeah.
So like, what if Superman's watching this? Just like, what the hell's going on? What's this guy saying?
Fico no to- I don't know. I can't speak Chinese.
What
I
the
just offended
fuck?
the entire Chinese nation. Like, what the fuck did you just say?
So, yeah,
yeah,
that-
that's kind of nitpicky, but I get what you're saying there.
Well, because I know other Superman stories have done this.
Yeah, they have. It's not exactly.
It's easier to pull off in comics, I guess.
Yeah,
Where
it's not as obvious.
It's just text.
Right.
And, like, you just make up random ass symbols and have this, like, the editor's note speech bubble that says this means this.
Right.
Pretty much, yeah. That being said, like I said before, I really like General Zod's character in this movie. Like,
he was insane.
He was fucking great. I thought.
Yeah.
I actually liked him better than the Superman 2 version. In a lot of
Well,
ways.
they were hammy in different ways.
Yeah,
I think,
but this one I felt like its intensity worked more in his favor for what the story was going for, or at least what the characters were going for. Like, especially at the very end.
when they had that evil villain speech, and it was evil villain speech always sucks, always.
Oh, come on, that can be fun.
But this one didn't
This one
really
was pretty
suck
good.
that much.
I mean, the one at the very end after,
yeah,
like...
the very, very, very end.
Yeah, that was a great
He was
fucking
holding up
speech.
the ashes from the Kryptonian ship that had all the unborn Kryptonian ships.
Which Superman
Good
destroyed
shot.
because
yeah,
Krypton
and he's
had
just
his
like,
chance.
he's just like, look at what you've done.
It's like, my entire existence serves to protect these people, and you've basically taken everything away from me. And after that, the shit just hits the fucking
Yeah,
fan.
he's like, I'm supposed to protect Krypton. If that means killing you, then I will.
And after totaling the whole fucking city, they total more of the whole fucking city.
How
All
much
I'm
more
thinking is
could
like,
there be?
there's gonna be nothing left.
And they land in what looked like Grand Central Station. Even though Metropolis is Chicago.
Well, it's like that's what I'm talking about. Like towards the third act, towards the very final, everything just got the intense. Like I said, everything clicked. It just got a lot more intense, a lot more dramatic, and everything just worked after that.
Yeah.
Actually, it had nice build-up.
It did, and like the payoff of the eventual fight between Superman and General Zod, just
Pretty epic.
It was pretty fucking awesome. Because all I've wanted since I was a kid is see a live-action version of Superman where they just beat the living snot out of each other. Even the cartoons didn't go this far.
I could tell you some things. But anyway, one shot I really, really loved is when they're going through the Daily Planet, and you see Superman falling, and Zod comes up like this, and you think they're going down, but then it just shows the camera panning up, or the background going up. It's like, wow, that's actually a nice way to shoot that.
Speaking of the visuals, this movie, I was very impressed by the visuals in this movie. I really liked the shot choices, the way they framed things. It was just...
And that being said, you and I both laughed when we heard the scream.
The best use of the Wilhelm scream I've ever heard in a film.
Wait, where
By
did we
far.
jump to?
The Wilhelm screams is, the you hear in like every movie. That's like an inside Hollywood joke.
Just the way they used it was so freaking good.
When the guy got chucked out of the helicopter.
I was about to say, that's major spoilers. Go find
We've
it for
already given
yourself.
everything away at this point.
But this is the Wilhelm scream. You let them find that.
Okay, fair enough.
This is when he was healing
skip like
her.
a minute or so.
This is when he was healing her, right? Is this what you're talking
No,
about? where she
No,
screams?
the Wilhelm was like, do you know that scream you hear in every movie where it goes, "Ow!" and then he falls, like someone falls to their death? It's usually a random henchman.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I was about to print it up. but-
Yes.
But they did like when they used Superman's birth pod basically as a bomb to destroy like one of the world ender things. That's basically
Right.
trying to
It was a
terraform the whole
gravity
planet.
altering machine.
Which actually that had a pretty cool visual effect to it, like how the gravity got tossed back and forth.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually pretty cool.
that was pretty neat.
Oh, pretty clever. And I also, on another note, while we're talking about, I really like the scene between Perry White, who's not really in this movie very much, between like him and the coworkers though, when they were in between the buildings, like the whole thing's gonna collapse on top of them. That was around the time when Superman was about to
Yeah,
destroy
I
the
know
thing.
what you're talking about,
And I thought
but-
that's kind of when it started to click for me, like the symbolism of hope and everything like that.
Right.
I thought that tied into it nicely. I don't know, maybe you disagree.
I thought it worked.
No, I think it works.
Yeah, I thought it worked.
But I just wasn't really impressed by it as much as other stuff, though.
Fair enough. But like again, that's kind of when that's when it clicked for me. Like right around that moment, that's when I was like, okay, this is what they're doing. This works. This is actually pretty good, or at least this part of it is. Again, I would have preferred if they actually like developed Superman and Lois's relationship, for example,
Definitely. No, definitely.
and actually not kill Professor Hamilton.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up, because what the fuck are you going to do in a sequel now? You killed off, like, the
I
study-
know what you can do in a Superman sequel. Bandit Cumberbatch is Brainiac. All right.
When you killed off Hamilton, you killed off, like, literally 75% of the jumping point for your next movie.
Oddly enough, Professor Hamilton from Smallville was also in this movie. Yeah, he was.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sad that I saw
Smallville.
that and caught that, but I saw it, and I'm
I
not.
have a very love-hate relationship with Smallville.
I don't blame you. It was a guilty pleasure, even I admit.
Save me!
Yeah, that fucking
I
song.
was like, when I
The
first
song's
saw
awesome.
him,
The song's awesome. Come on.
It got old after 10 fucking years.
when I first saw him on screen, I was like, this fool looks familiar.
At least it wasn't Tom Welling in this movie. Henry Cavill did pretty damn good job on this. What he was given anyway. Like again, I would like to develop the character more.
Hey, Tom Welling would have been good. I would have been happy with Tom Welling.
No, I
My
would
favorite
not.
supporting character was the weird choice to have a crossover with Law and Order SVU by having Detective Stabler in there.
Which one was he?
Oh,
He was the Colonel.
Oh, yeah, that's what you were laughing at. I was like, is this a comic book reference I'm not getting? Because I'm usually good at catching these things, but I'm like,
What was the order that he had where it's like, you tell him not doing it. It's like, I don't care what you tell him. It's like, wow, this is exactly what Stabler would say in SVU.
I don't know. I don't watch
This
SVU.
is exactly what he would do.
I don't watch SVU, so I don't know.
Speaking
anything
of
about
guilty pleasures.
good show. SVU, good show.
that. Okay, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, General Zod, like he has that great speech at the end. And again, they just beat the fucking shit out of each other, and it's like
Yeah.
that's all I've wanted since I was a kid. It's
How
like,
do you feel now, Mike?
I feel pretty damn good. I'm not gonna lie.
I actually,
To me, I don't know.
you think I would like really, really, really hate this part? But I think just because, this is a new thing, it has. Isn't this No, the Batman movie after this ties into this one. It's,
Yeah.
With this one, this is their Iron Man where they're making a new universe.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess in their new universe where everything has to be Nolan super serious all the fucking time.
Yeah, like
It's a fucking comic book. Come on.
At least
Actually-
Robert Downey Jr. had a good time.
Yeah, the parts where Superman was just Superman talking to people. It's like, yeah, you're a charming motherfucker. There's more of you.
Like,
Yes,
at
he
the-
was.
Like at the end of the movie, like they
Yeah.
kind of had that a little more like
It's freaking
after
hilarious.
everything's like done, and he just knocks down a fucking like predator drone pretty much, and he goes,
Right.
surveillance drone, whatever the hell you call it.
Yeah.
And he goes, you know what, you guys are just gonna have to trust me. I know what I'm doing.
And it was like,
So you guys
what the
can't
hell are you
find where I
doing?
was-
This was a $12 million drone. Was.
Yeah.
And he goes,
You're not gonna find out where I
It's like,
live.
it's like you're not gonna find out where I hang my cave.
Yeah.
And by the part where it's just like, well, only if it makes you feel safer I'm in handcuffs. I mean, like,
Then he
doesn't
just-
do anything.
then he just
He's
breaks
like,
the
okay,
handcuffs
this is how it goes.
I
He
was
just like
I was in the
doesn't
bathroom for
tried
that
to
one, but-
Oh, you were.
Oh, that's the
right.
part
That's
you
a
missed.
part.
That was a good
That was
scene.
Yeah, you missed where you complained about Superman wasn't really developed. There you go. You were in the fucking taking
Yeah.
a piss.
Actually, I was getting M&Ms.
And you didn't share? Fucking asshole.
I was hungry.
Oh,
Basically,
no,
Lois Lane is like, wait, you're all this powerful. Why are you letting them like handle you and all this crap? And he's like, well, so they trust me, and they'd be scared if not. And he's like, I could get out of these handcuffs. Oh wait, now 10 minutes later, here you go.
Back to what it was. When they're in Grand Central Station, I guess that's what it is.
New York now, yeah.
And when he has Zod in the headlock, and then he just sees those people in the corner, and he's like, if you love them, you're gonna mourn for them.
So he
And then
starts
he does
going
the
all laser eyes things on
and
him.
like you can see him just like holding like this is getting closer and closer, and then Superman kills him.
Right.
You think I would hate this beyond all belief, but first of all, for us thing, it's just like, hey Superman, why don't you just do this?
I thought that's
You can take it.
I thought that, or just like fly him up. That's
The other thing I was thinking is just like, so he's just gonna fly him out of here or something?
no, he's just gonna fucking kill him.
And it's like, oh shit.
No, I liked it too.
I
Although,
liked it,
again, it's probably pissed off a few fans because, of course, one of the big things Superman doesn't kill. It's kind of a big
As
staple
much
of
as
the
he
character.
can.
Well, yeah, it happens. Well,
I
Doomsday.
mean, he kills
is
innocent
one of
bystanders, So
them. He's killed Doomsday like 55,000 times. So
He's kind of killed Darkseid, but not really.
yeah.
But then again, when you're in comics, if you
JLU.
die, then you don't really die. 'cause
So
you're
I guess it's
coming
kind
back.
of you kind of get a mulligan.
Yeah.
A little bit. So yeah, the big spoiler, obviously, Superman kills General Zod at the very end of the movie, and again, I liked the effect it had on the character, though, like the way Superman
yeah.
reacts to that. Like, obviously, it wasn't an easy thing to do, and it shows, and it's very
Yeah.
effective in that way.
I liked it.
And so in that scene, like, it kind of justifies it just to get that little emotional tug out of there.
Oh, by the way, there's something blinking on the screen. I'm not sure what that is.
That means we're almost out of battery, so we gotta wrap this up.
All right.
Hans
Alright.
Zimmer did the music. It was great.
Okay, so final thoughts,
Okay.
quickly.
I have a bunch of films. Well, a couple of films that I know they're bad, but I'll watch them and I enjoy them. Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Sylvester Stallone.
Never. No.
Oh, I'm thinking the cable guy.
Well, the
Larry.
Cable Guy's also in there. Temple of Doom. Judge Dredd. I'm not sure if this goes in there or a different category altogether, but if you just don't really think about it all that much, I mean, I paid $10.50 and I don't regret it at all.
Oh,
So
definitely.
I would say, if you like Superman and you're willing to,
I'm just gonna get my iPhone on just in case we have to do more shots.
Okay, that's fine.
so if you like Superman enough, or if you're one of those like, oh, Superman's gay, blah,
Yeah.
whatever, then maybe this movie was made to kind of change your mind, because I kind of got that a little bit.
A little bit.
Even for
It's trying to redefine Superman for new generation, pretty much.
And yeah, so for like,
You know what? Go see it.
I felt like as a
Wow.
as a person who didn't.
I'm actually a little taken aback. You actually recommend something? Are you feeling okay?
I recommended what's it called?
You kind of sort of recommended it.
With the movie with the other people in it.
I know,
But
that fucking zombie romance.
Yeah, I kind of recommended Warm Bodies. It's no Dead Rising.
Oh, yeah, you don't get them. You don't get killed.
Okay, go on.
But going back to the fact that you're talking about, the new generation thing, I felt like this movie and a lot of the comic book movies nowadays are really catering for those people who didn't read the comic books, and I felt like
I can see that.
and
Well, you need to make money.
right, so as a person that didn't read the comic books, I mean, obviously everyone knows a little bit about Superman, growing up, I really enjoyed this movie, and I know a lot of the hardcore fans of the comic book, probably gonna nitpick it and say, oh, this was different in the comic
Yeah,
book.
I've
this
heard
is
a lot of shit talk about this
Right.
movie, which
I
I actually
saw
don't
some
get.
online.
Well, that's
Right.
okay.
But I mean, overall, I thought for what they made it for, like the audience they're going after, and kind of like the whole picture all together, if taking this movie as a reboot as it's on its own merits, I thought it did a really good job.
That's kind of why it's funny you bring that up, though, because this movie really does have like a lot of people divided. I think it's like 57 on Rotten Tomato right now, which it does not deserve.
It deserves higher, I think.
I think it deserves like 60s,
I think it's better than that, but
I think I think so too.
like
Well,
73 at most.
it has.
I think it's better than that.
So right
but-
now, 82% of users like it, 56% of critics.
Well, the users like everything.
It's actually true. Someone likes Scary Movie 5. But yeah, going back. Where was I going with this?
Oh, the whole.
Oh yeah, it was like it seems really kind of like a love it, hate it kind of movie. Like either the movie's gonna work for you or it doesn't. It seems to be kind of that kind of
I
film.
mean, there were parts
Yeah.
of it that didn't work for me, but it was kind of like in the whole picture of things, it's not significant.
Okay, that's
Like-
what was I gonna say?
What's your thoughts?
It's like overall, like I think it's a bit of a rough ride for about a lot of the way through it. I think it has a lot of great ideas in the beginning, like the first half of it. I think it has a lot
Right.
of great ideas. It really kind of, but it doesn't really click for me anyway until like close to the very end. That's when I think everything's like really just works the way it should, and that's the point where I think it really just gotta stick out for. So other than that, I actually do recommend this movie. I did
Yeah.
really enjoy it. I thought it was actually pretty good. It's definitely better. I think it's better than Superman Returns, personally.
Oh yeah, no, it is.
I thought they could have built the movie up a little faster. Like it was kind of slow. Just
There was
building
pacing
everything up.
issues. There were some character issues. Like
yeah.
this is not a perfect movie by any stretch of the
Well,
imagination.
Right.
personally, I think when you kind of like have a superhero film like this, unless you royally fuck it up like Green Lantern did, pretty much the idea is we'll get right in the sequel.
Again,
I'm pretty sure that's what a lot of their
Kind of like the Dark Knight, like the original
Benedict
Dark Knight.
Cumberbatch is Brainiac. Is all I'm saying.
that would be amazing.
I know. I'm gonna have to try a petition on that on Twitter and just see how many people I can get to follow that.
One thing actually I really liked, no kryptonite.
Yeah, they didn't know
None.
no kryptonite and no
You
Lex
found
Luthor.
I don't
You
know. I was
found
waiting
great-
for it.
You found really genuinely good ways to put Superman in real peril
Right.
without kryptonite, which is good because most of the time kryptonite's just a lazy plot device.
Yeah.
I was waiting
Because
for the entire
when kryptonite's
movie.
used correctly, it's the one where Superman like doesn't really know that the kryptonite's hurting him. Like he doesn't know what's around him because it's just the radiation that. Well, there's two ways to go with it. Like there's the actual radiation from it that actually hurts Superman, like radiation fucking would
Yeah.
Right.
somebody. Then there's the way where it's just like it kind of just brings Superman back to normal Kryptonian levels, which on Krypton is just basically human. And, like it just subtly keeps happening. He doesn't know if he's been around it for a long time.
Okay. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And I was kind of expecting the latter version of Kryptonite, but then I heard no Kryptonite. I was like, okay, let's see where you go. And
No
I
Lex
was
Luthor, no kryptonite.
I
So
was-
that's actually pretty
I was
impressive.
a
for
little
this movie.
surprised.
Surprised, yeah, definitely I was
So,
surprised.
I'm really glad they didn't go with Lex Luthor. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say that because he's been every goddamn Superman movie
Yeah.
since they started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad they didn't use that. I kind of wish it was a new villain, but I'm really happy with the General Zod they gave us. So I'm not worried about
I'm
that
trying
anymore.
to think of where to go next. That isn't
Benedict Cumberbatch's Brainiac.
that isn't Brainiac, Luthor, or Darkseid.
Well, we haven't gotten Brainiac or Darkseid, so I'd be happy with the one, quite frankly.
I'd be happy with Brainiac.
As starring Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yep. Mr. Mixitaplick.
I'm just good. Oh God! Yes, Mr. Mixie. played by Gilbert Godfrey.
Yes, we need him.
He was the voice in Superman
He was the
Returns.
voice in the animated series. Yeah.
Yeah, that I absolutely do have on my Xbox, actually, admittedly.
Good.
But
Good. It's a good one.
yeah, it is a good one. But while we still have battery life, I guess we should go over trailers.
Oh yeah. Okay.
We got Elysium.
Pacific Rim.
Pacific Rim looks fucking awesome. All right, I can't fucking wait for that.
I'm
movie.
really
I don't
hyped
know,
for
I-
Pacific Rim.
I'm not loving it as much as you guys, but it still looks cool.
Says the man who wouldn't show up at Fast and Furious 6 for 3 months.
Damn.
But I understand where you're coming from. So
It's as a Godzilla fan in my childhood, and as a man who actually owns all the fucking movies, a majority of which in
Good.
VHS.
Good. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I got Godzilla meets Monster Zero and
that.
Smog Monster on a Laserdisc.
That laser disc.
Yeah.
Smog Monster took me forever to fucking find. I think I finally found a version for like $15.
Oh, when I was growing up, I grew up on the
you should probably go to the next trailers before the battle.
yeah. Let's go to the next trailer.
First, guys, I got my cell phone. We can film the rest of it. Let's talk about Godzilla.
Yeah. So
Let's film that on the cell
Pacific
phone
Rim
later.
looks fucking hype.
Which one?
Pacific Rim.
I can't fucking
To me, it
wait.
looks over the top like Transformers.
What else?
does.
Like
Says the man who wanted to see Fast and Furious 6. You can't make that argument without a comparison.
okay.
Obviously, all they showed was like robots battling and hitting each other. So it's like,
All Fast and Furious 6 had were fucking cars.
yeah.
It had more cars exploding than Cars 2.
And Die Hard.
Actually, I thought
Can I tell
Fast
you
6
about
did not
Cars
have
2?
enough car racing.
The horrible realization with Cars 2.
I think
I'll tell you later.
Dude, I think I might have made that realization in my video.
All right, let's go over that later. Next trailer. I
next
forget
trailer?
what it is.
Oh, we had Elysium.
This was that's what I liked.
Oh,
I like that
fucking
one.
Elysium.
I
Doesn't
like
look
that
bad.
one.
Looks
From
interesting.
the director of District 9.
You didn't like District 9.
Hey, they should have made a District
Fuck
10
no.
for all I know.
Didn't they?
You didn't like District 9?
I like the soundtrack.
Fair enough.
The South African disco soundtrack.
I totally get why you wouldn't like it, because like the racism topic is a bit bashed over the head. Actually, more than a bit.
Yeah.
It starts off really clever,
And then just
but then it
devolves
just
into
fucking falls apart.
and turns into Half-Life the movie.
But you know,
Yeah,
they,
exactly.
where
That's my
they-
biggest fucking problem with District 9. Is like, you had to go out of your way to fuck this up as bad as you did.
but the way they ended District 9 was like asking for a District 10, and they never made one. Or
Not
whatever.
really.
Good.
It was like when he
Yeah.
turned into an alien. It was like I was like, okay, I can see where they're gonna go with this next movie.
That's 'cause
Oh,
fucking
wait, there is no
Avatar
next
did it.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can't beat Avatar.
And what was
Might as well try and beat Pandora.
the third one?
But I'm looking forward to the movie either way.
Do you even fucking remember?
Doesn't
The
matter.
third trailer. I was too liking that
Does it really
trailer.
Maybe I was
There.
just geeking out on Pacific Rim because that looked fucking awesome.
Pacific Rim.
See, I guess the reason I'm not loving that one, I don't know the story about behind it. I'm like, I don't.
It's giant robots versus giant fucking monsters.
They said so. Kaiju coming out of the sea.
What more
Fucking
do you
stop
need to know? That's about as much story as we got on Fast and Furious 6 with the fucking tank on the freeway.
What the hell was the third trailer? This is bugging me now.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world. This happens every goddamn time.
You know
go
what?
See a movie.
Must not have been important enough.
Yeah.
We say that too, and then we automatically remember as soon as we turn off the camera. Without fail, that's always wow. The battery lasts a really long time when that thing's blinking at me. That's good to know.
All right.
Okay, so I think we've said all you have to say, and if we can remember the mysterious third trailer, we'll get the camera phone out. Other than that,
Yeah.
I think that's it until we go see the Blaine Rain, where hopefully we can get the members we've been trying to get in here for about 4 months finally in the fucking car.
Has Bobby done one of these yet?
That's what I'm talking about. And Bobby has to sit through the Blaine Rain.
Is there any other people?
And so do I. I think just me and Bobby will do fine, Rush.
Okay.
See you all at Smurfs 2.
Fuck you.
Come on, Christina Ricci. Come on.
I'm looking forward to
Fuck
Monsters
you.
University. Monsters University is what I'm looking forward to. That's next week.
That's actually a pretty good movie. But
I'll take your word for it.
fair
Or
enough.
not.
All right.
Bye.
See you guys later.
Bye.